No video for a year, and then I've done 2 in a couple of months. Well, I've certainly taken the lid off the creativity bottle.
On second thoughts, put it back on.
A few years back, to celebrate Christopher Eccleston returning to Doctor Who and Big Finish, we did one fantastic scene celebrating everyone's favourite scenes or moments from him across YouTube, and that seemed to go down well. So I thought, why not celebrate Jodie Whittaker and airtime on Doctor Who as it comes to a close? Ask some people, see if they'd be up for it, and here we are. People picked the first scene, regeneration, companion exits, all the big ones, but I've gone for something a little bit different.
This is an emergency transmission. If you're seeing this, the TARDIS must have detected an upsurge in psychological signals from somewhere in space and time. Basically, I think somebody somewhere might be a little bit worried.
Is it an odd choice? Yes, but there are a few reasons why I've picked this, and it's not just because the only other scene I was going to do was already taken, but I thought that there's actually quite a lot to talk about. On the 25th of March 2020, the Doctor sends out an emergency transmission while self-isolating, or as she likes to call it,
Hiding from an army of Sontarans, but keep that to yourself.
Well, on the surface, this is basically an inconsequential thing Jodie Whittaker filmed on a phone in a cupboard. If you look a bit deeper, it's basically the whole Chris Chibnall era in a nutshell, and goes a bit beyond that as well. Chris Chibnall wanted to take the whole show back to its roots when he took over, even going so far as to look at the original production notes for the first ever episode. Doctor Who's mission statement was to entertain and inform. Chibs took on that mantle for Series 11 with episodes like Rosa and Demons of the Punjab, showing history and educating the audience who may not have known about the event shown, and doing it in an entertaining Sunday tea time type of way. Entertain and inform. That's exactly what he does with emergency transmission.
2, tell jokes, even bad ones, especially bad ones. I am brilliant at bad ones. 3, be kind. Even kinder than you were yesterday. And I know you were super kind yesterday.
Jodie Whittaker agreed to do this at the request of the BBC, but she had one condition, and that was she'd only agree to do it if Chris Chibnall wrote it. As the only modern Doctor showrunner pair to come and go together, this shows the relationship that the two of them had together and their vision for the show. I genuinely think this is one of Jodie's best performances, and that's not just because her hair is the longest it's ever been in the role, though we do know that when the hair is longer, the better. This short video encapsulates how good Jodie was as an ambassador for the show and the character. It's a role she took very seriously, and you can tell that from any interview or fan interaction during her tenure. Even if the 13th Doctor isn't your favourite, I don't think there's any denying that Jodie was a great face for the show, and we were lucky to have her. And this scene, and yes, I'm calling it a scene, was filmed at the very start of the first lockdown, and though it may not have had a direct effect, many more things came after. One day, Emily Cook decided to do a rewatch A Day of the Doctor, with people watching together for a tweet along to bring people together during lockdown and give us fans stuck at home something to do. It trended #1. Stephen Moffat tweeted, "I know, who'd have thought we'd see the day?" He wrote a new scene and everyone had a great time. Because it was such a success, it led to more watch-alongs, tweet-alongs for the likes of Rose, The 11th Hour, Journey's End, Heaven Sent, and more. It brought back Stephen Moffat multiple times. The poor man, he just keeps trying to get away, but he just keeps getting pulled back. I mean, he's had about 50 final stories. RTD got involved, and many of the cast and crew of the episodes for the rewatchers got involved as well. Matt Smith and the Ponds watched along. David Tennant sat down to watch. Well, I say watch. Money was raised for the film and TV charity along the way as well. And maybe the highlight of the whole thing was Goodbye Sarah Jane, where loads of the cast from all over Doctor Who and Sarah Jane reprised their roles to honour the late great Elizabeth Sladen.
But it's still there. The house on Bannerman Road. Just waiting.
What's interesting is there was loads of other watch-alongs and tweet-alongs and things like that just throughout lockdown for different properties and different films and shows and stuff, but nothing on the scale of Doctor Who and the tweet-alongs that we were a part of. Why is that? I mean, one is because of how amazing Emily Cook is and organising the whole thing. And I think what it does is it shows what Doctor Who does. Once you've been involved once, you're part of history. There's such a love for the show, and I think that's evident not just in these watch-alongs, but in general. And I think that's one of the main reasons why it's still going more than 60 years on. And listen, I don't want to say this is definitely what happened, but there is a high likelihood, let's just say that getting people like RTD, David Tennant, Catherine Tate, putting them back together to watch an episode and reminisce on the good times, get talking about how fun it was doing the show. Wouldn't it be great to do it all over again, get the band back together? I'm not saying anything. And as well as emergency transmission, there was a lot of other short stories that went along with not just the tweet along and the watch alongs, but like on the Doctor Who website and things like that. So a charity book was published for children in need with a lot of the stories, and it's probably the most pleasant and active the Doctor Who fandom has been in many years, and probably for many more years to come. Everyone was just banding together and enjoying the show, and even if people who didn't want to take part in the tweet alongs, they just didn't take part. They weren't having a go with people who did. So yeah, it was a great time, really, in an otherwise terrible time. And as Jodie Whittaker, as the 13th Doctor, signs off,
Stay strong, stay positive, you've got this, and I will see you very soon.
ending with a message of hope and that the Doctor will be around to save the day. And if that's not Doctor Who, then I don't know what is.
And listen to doctors, right?
Somewhere on the screen will be the playlist for all of this, and do you know what? Somewhere else will be the one fantastic scene, because that was alright as well. Thanks to everyone who's taken part. I honestly didn't think that many people would when I came up with the idea, so thanks. And with any luck, this will be my last video. I'm like Stephen Moffat, I keep trying to do the final one, but I just keep getting pulled back. See you later.